Let me now take you across live to Washington, D.C. My colleague Shubhendu Ghosh is joining us from there on, this key upcoming bilateral meeting. Hi, Shubhendu. Now, how much longer to that much anticipated moment of the Modi-Trump talks where the U.S. President has taken a very strident stand on his MAGA agenda in his second innings at the Oval Office?
Hello, Gautam, from a very chilly Washington, D.C. Well, in a way, the engagement with the new administration with Prime Minister Narendra Modi had started the moment he touched down here in Washington, D.C. From France, the very first engagement that we talked about with Tulsi Gabbard, the number of bilaterals, engagements with the heads of the departments of the new administration are taking place today. Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy from Department of Efficiency, the new NSA, they're all going to are calling on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Remember, it's the first meeting of Prime Minister Narendra Modi with the new administration, but the most anticipated one of them all. Prime Minister Modi and President Donald Trump meeting, sitting together. That is going to take place post-lunch local time. It's going to be around 4 p.m. when that engagement and meeting starts. It's going to be followed later in the evening. Both the leaders are expected to address the media about what they had discussed. But yes, the anticipation, excitement is very high. Both the leaders share an excellent personal rapport, but there are diverse issues on the discussion table. India and US are very close partners. President Trump has in fact prioritized some of his tariff concerns, but there'll be much to discuss and negotiate for the leaders. Remember, it's just the very first meeting, so in that sense we also have to see that the focus is going to be the broader roadmap that the two leaders would like to see, where India and US ties could be taken forward. In that sense, the specifics and the larger agenda will be revealed later in the evening today. Gautam?
Certainly, Shubhendu. Now, how would India like to move the comprehensive global strategic partnership forward with the US under the Trump presidency? For instance, we already have a defense framework which is approaching the end of its tenure. It was renewed in 2015 for 10 years, so 2025, another renewal on cards?
That's right, Gautam. One of the priorities that India would like to focus on, and it has been a priority, especially with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's successive governments, is to promote Make in India. Particularly in the defense sector, we are talking about not simply purchasing advanced machines, advanced weapon systems for our own defense need, but to be able to co-produce them, co-manufacture them in the country. We know that President Donald Trump would also like a better trade in the manner that America could sell more to India. India would also be an interesting market, but again, what India would prefer would be an opportunity to co-manufacture and co-produce. So we see an area of great opportunity and also negotiation in that front. But India and the US continue to be very, very close strategic partner. The importance of Indo-Pacific, the manner in which it has gained currency in the recent years is for everyone to see. And with Japan and Australia, India and the US, in fact, carried the responsibility not just for the four nations, but of the whole region, which comprises many small islands also, who would seek to have a free and open Indo-Pacific. In that sense, convergences, interconnectedness of the administration, of the resources at various levels is what each of the partners would want. India would want that its own strategic autonomy is retained while forging very, very close partnership with the United States.
Certainly. And we saw how the focus even in France, which Prime Minister Modi visited just before coming to Washington, D.C., was to a large extent on areas of frontier technology and energy, particularly renewable energy, nuclear energy in particular. Now, do you think there would be a similar theme playing out here as well with Donald Trump?
Absolutely. And for a moment, Gautam, if I can just turn around our camera and show you the anticipation around Prime Minister Narendra Modi's presence here in the United States. There are these hoardings on trucks doing rounds in the city, talking about the close bond between Prime Minister Modi and President Donald Trump. In that sense, Washington, D.C. today is buzzing with excitement in the manner in which the two leaders are going to be taking forward the partnership. Coming to your question, Gautam, that you mentioned. Yes, critical emerging technologies are an important place of convergence for both India and the United States. For India, the kind of investments in the recent years, very recent times that it has made in semiconductor technology, trying to emerge as an important part of the global supply chain. Both US and India have underlined the concerns vis-a-vis with China having just one supplier of critical technologies, critical hardware, and what that could do in sort of holding the whole world ransom. So in that sense, the diversification of global supply chains in the critical technologies, in that India is a very, very important emerging partner. United States identifies that. It knows that while engaging in a trade war with China, it needs a partner with which it can keep these technologies, keep the exports, imports moving. So in that sense, hugely significant critical technologies, advanced technologies such as AI. Both India and America are democracies. The manner in which they look at the concerns, the opportunities around a new technology like artificial intelligence is greatly similar. And we saw the manner in which Vice President of the US and Prime Minister Modi in France spoke about the convergences in this domain. So yes, that is a very, very exciting and important area in which the two countries and the two leaders would like to move forward in the same spirit.
And certainly, Shubhendu, and things are moving pretty fast on the Ukraine conflict front as well. And we've had the US administration saying off the record, in the sense that President Trump would love to hear what Prime Minister Modi has to say, how to achieve peace on that front. So you think that could also figure prominently in their talks?
Certainly, the important aspect of the relationship, the personal rapport between Prime Minister Modi and President Trump is that both the leaders understand one another's worldview. They understand the priorities with which the other works, and there is also a lot of convergence, which is important for any friendship to develop and flourish. In that sense, both the leaders, if we see in their own ways, have prioritized peace for the region. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has a number of times said very clearly that this is not an era of war, and peace, in fact, is the side that India takes. India is not neutral. India is consciously pushing for peace in the region, in this case, particularly the Russia-Ukraine conflict. President Trump would also want immediate peace. He has just come into power. There are n number of priorities he'd like to focus in, especially as far as the domestic concerns in America are concerned, the economy is concerned. He wouldn't like to be distracted by America's investment in conflicts, which he sees as futile. First, what's going on in West Asia vis-a-vis Gaza, and now countries have achieved some bit of stability, ceasefire for some time there, but now the attention now turns to Russia, Ukraine. So in that, there is a great of convergence in the manner in which these two leaders look at this conflict. There is a certain degree of futility that they both recognize in it, and therefore the push for peace. At what cost? We'll have to see how negotiations go on, but both leaders are of the view that the concerned parties must come on the negotiating table to achieve a long and lasting peace.
Yes, and India's had a similar refrain as far as the conflict in West Asia or Middle East is also concerned, with the two-state solution as the ultimate outcome of any set of talks. Let's see if that also comes up. And ultimately, of course, India-US ties are a lot about people-to-people ties. Particularly, we have a very strong diaspora there in the US, and with that, we have certain issues that also keep cropping up in terms of movement of people. Do you think that will also be a key component of the talks today?
Immigration is a very, very significant an issue, Gautam. We have to understand and acknowledge the issue of both legal and illegal immigration. There is no doubt about the clarity with which both the leaders understand the challenge that illegal immigration can be for any country, whether it is United States or it is India. But legal immigration, the ways in which those processes can be streamlined. We were speaking to some students. Mind you, there are some 3.3 lakh Indian students studying here over in America, making them the biggest foreign students group in the America. So they bring with them a great deal of investment. Some of them were saying that they've taken student loan to be able to study at prestigious American universities. So there is a lot of investment also by Indian students in America in getting their education. Now their concerns remain that once the education is done, the manner in which professional work experience in America is taken forward through the means of visas like H-1B visa, a little more clarity on that visa, the certainty of getting it. Although Indians are still by and large the highest recipient of H-1B visa, students say that more clarity is required. It is still not a list that is drawn up on the basis of merit and work experience, but a lot of ways a certain lottery system comes into
Shubhendu,
so
just hold that thought for a second, because we've had some fresh input coming in. We've got these images of the American National Security Advisor Michael Waltz calling on Prime Minister Modi at Blair House. You can see those pictures there, the two leaders having their discussions on issues of mutual interest where national security is concerned. A lot of convergence there in terms of ensuring that the world is a more peaceful place where a lot of these mischievous elements who disrupt peace and sow fear in the minds of people never succeed. Shubhendu, if you're with me, could you talk a little bit about the kind of security cooperation that India and the US have had in the past, which could also be taken further here on? I'm told that Shubhendu is no longer with us, but you can see those images there. Michael Waltz, US NSA, meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Washington, D.C. This is ahead of the key bilateral talk between Prime Minister Modi and US President Donald Trump.
Gautam, I'm still there. I heard your question about the meeting of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the new NSA of the American administration. Hugely significant India and America cooperation and convergence in the domain of security, counter-terror in particular. We understand both the leaders, Prime Minister Modi and President Trump, take a very hard line and clear, no compromise stand against the menace of terrorism. Both India and America have seen the worst of terrorism, what it can do to societies and communities. So in that sense, the cooperation in this particular department, counter-terror, intelligence sharing, is going to be very, very significant. And here we see members of the new administration, in this case the NSA, coming and calling on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It is interesting, it's a new administration that has come into place. Each of the department is leader is coming and briefing the Prime Minister about their priorities and the manner in which they would like to take forward the cooperation with India. So that sort of assumes great significance. The richness with which and the intensity with which the deliberation and the exchange between India and US is taking place through these meetings. Gautam?
Yes, let's see what emerges, because we will have the two leaders also addressing the media once they've had their talk. So we will perhaps learn more about what kind of engagements have taken place, what kind of talks have taken place at different levels, starting from, of course, the President and the Indian Prime Minister and other members of his administration. Thanks a lot for joining us for the moment. Shubhendu Ghosh from Washington, D.C.